Hello again, basketball fans. Welcome to High School Hoops Weekly. I'm Rachel George, joined by sports editor Dan Spears, and we are out here at Pender High School. We will talk to Pender boys and girls coach Gary Battle a little bit later in the show, but first, conference things about to get underway. We've got some things to recap, to look forward, so we'll dive right in. Brogden tourney finished up last week, and we had, I'm going to have to remember this, New Hanover 3rd, Ashley 4th, Pender 5th, Laney 6th, and Hoggard 7th. I know they all would have rather been in those first two spots, but a pretty good tournament for some of those teams.
I think it's a good learning experience for everybody that was involved. I think they found out a lot about themselves and what they needed to work on. I think, yeah, like you said, I think everybody wouldn't have minded taking a step or two up, but I think they got out of that what they wanted. You're going to be very competitive in the Mideastern Conference again, and we're going to get to that in a second. But and I think Pender showed that it's more than capable of hanging with the big schools around here.
That's right. That's right. Well, North Mac obviously ended up winning that one. Some things of note from our Mideastern teams. One of the things we're going to talk about is the parity. Hoggard finished 7th. It's not a place they wanted to be, but did it without their leading scorer, point guard Stillman White. And I talked to Coach Brett Queen this morning, and Stillman is going to be out for a few weeks. It's a meniscus injury, not surgery or anything like that, but certainly they will need to pick things up while he's gone. And really, I think what that does is level things out a little bit in the Mideastern. Go out and play Laney the other day and win by, only a couple points, but only, after scoring 11 points in the first half. So I definitely think it's going to be competitive, boys and girls in the Mideastern this year.
I think it brings a lot more teams into it on the boys' side. The girls' side, I think we knew was going to be pretty even all the way across anyway. And the Time Warner tournament proved that. The first couple games the other night proved that. They're all even. It's who comes out with the most focus that night is probably going to win the game, and I think that brings everybody into it, and that even brings Newbern and Rose into it from this point. So
and two teams, we thought it would be 4 Wilmington schools, but they have certainly played well. Another team that probably won't have much competition, East Bladen girls are business as usual.
We've seen this before.
Still unbeaten. I think ranked 3rd in the NC Preps poll, and just same thing as always for Coach Patty Evers and those girls.
They do this over and over and over again. They've got a system. It works. They don't mess with it. And when you do that, you tend to win. And also they've got 2 really good players in Courtney Melvin and Jasmine Kemp. It's nice when you have 2 people to rely on. So many smaller high school teams, you have 1 very good player, and then you hope that you can put enough pieces around them. They have 2. And especially at a smaller girls level, that's just a huge thing to have. Big advantage for them.
Courtney Melvin, she's about 6'3" or so. No one's going to match her size in 2A. If you can find me someone who can box her out, I will be surprised, because she's a very good post player. Went over 1,000 points earlier this season, so definitely good things to come for the Eagles.
Yeah, as long as they can stay away from Bishop McGinnis at some point, I think they'll be very, very happy with how things turn out, no matter what.
That's right. Well, the reason we are here, Pender, like we said, can hang with the big boys, off to a very good start to the year. Went to the regional last year and fell a little bit short, and I think they've got the tools this year to get back. One of them would be Mr. Keenan Pittman. What do we know about him?
We know he's really, really tall, folks. 6'10", starting to find his way now. Last year he was on the varsity, and people would see him in the lineup and go, why is that kid not playing? Well, Pender was pretty good last year.
Yes.
I think people didn't get that, but he's gotten a lot better, played some summer ball, and he's 6'10", and when you get 6'10", and they figure it out, look out below, because it's going to be dangerous. He's another nice piece to what's become a really pretty puzzle up here.
Yeah, well, and certainly Keenan's part of it, but that whole front line, talking to other coaches who had to play Pender in the Brogden, they're sitting there going, Keenan Pittman, Addison Spruill is a 6'4" forward, made the all-tournament team. It was just phenomenal the final 2 days. And also Paxton Lee at 6'3", another guy up front who can hurt you. So really the forwards are going to lead the way for them. And if you and talking to Coach Fred Lynch after they lost to Pender for the 3rd time, said in 1A you might find someone who can match up with one of them, but to match up with all 3 of them and stop them is really going to be the hard thing to do. Anything could happen, injuries, whatever, but don't be surprised if you see them back in the regional and maybe even a little bit further this year.
And the amazing part was Spruill was playing some guard in Brogden, too. It's like, all right, he's going to go home and cook us dinner, too, apparently. I mean, the kid can do it all. So that's the thing. If they can just get steady enough guard play to get the ball inside to those 3 really good big players, again, they've got a lot of potential to go a long way again.
All right, we are joined by Pender coach Gary Battle. Both teams again this year. How are they doing heading into conference play?
Both teams are doing well. We still need to get in the gym and do a little bit more practice. girls off to a good start and the boys. It's just a matter of getting some fundamentals down packed, and we should be okay.
You switched conferences this year. Last year in the Waccamaw 1A, 2A, now in a straight 1A in the Tri-County. What's the difference? How are you guys preparing for trying to take that title now?
Well, last year was a lot of competition in the conference. This year is just straight 1A. But all these schools, most of them got a good tradition. What we got to do is just be prepared to play every night.
What kind of, the boys make it to the regional last year for the first time in a while. What kind of expectations do they have coming back to try to do that again?
Well, we got high expectations, but we got to take one game at a time. It's easy to say it on paper. You just got to do it on the floor.
Mm-hmm. We mentioned your big front line, and certainly they helped you in the Brogden and have been leading the way. What do you need from those three guys, and then how do you need your guards to develop over the course of the season to make a run here?
Well, what those three guys are doing, they're bringing in some experience. Keenan playing a little AAU, and then you got Addison and Paxton. Paxton's a senior, so he's bringing in more experience than other guys. And what they're doing is trying to get them guards to get that leadership, which, Roger Ballard's a senior, and he's helping out. Those four guys are getting the job done. We just got to get the other guys to follow the lead.
All right, well, we will certainly see how you do. Pender continues in Tri-County Conference play. We will keep track of them and all the other teams from around the area. But for this week, for High School Hoops Weekly, I'm Rachel George for StarNewsOnline.com.